Curiosity and a sense of destiny drive Mia forward into Fantasia, a land where the boundaries of reality seem to dissolve. Here, towering crystal structures shimmer in impossible hues, floating islands drift lazily through a sky painted with every conceivable shade of twilight, and creatures of myth and dream coexist in harmony. Mia's heart pounds with a mix of awe and apprehension as she takes her first steps into this realm of infinite possibility. As she ventures deeper, the stark contrast between her cold digital world and the vibrancy of Fantasia becomes ever more apparent. In place of the detachment she felt amidst the constant connectivity, she finds herself immersed in an aura of pure, unfiltered creativity. Yet something nags at the back of her mind, a feeling that this enchanting world is fragile, on the brink of unraveling. It isn't long before Mia encounters Atreyu, an enigmatic figure who seems to be waiting for her. With piercing blue eyes that hold the wisdom of countless adventures and an aura of resilience, Atreyu stands as a beacon of hope against the growing threat of the nothingness. He explains that this void is more than mere absence. It is the physical manifestation of apathy and loss, a consuming force that erases data, memories, and dreams alike. Atreyu's presence emboldens Mia, stirring a resolve she didn't know she possessed. Together they embark on a journey through Fantasia's breathtaking landscapes, seeking the knowledge and allies needed to combat the nothingness. Each step brings Mia closer to uncovering her own hidden potential and the realization that Fantasia's fate, and perhaps that of her own world, rests squarely on her shoulders. As they ventured further into the vibrant expanse of Fantasia, Mia couldn't help but be mesmerized by the surreal architecture and vivid landscapes. Towering crystalline structures twisted into the sky, and pathways of luminous tiles pulsed with a rhythmic glow beneath their feet. Despite the beauty, Mia couldn't shake the shadow Atreyu's words had cast over her mind. They reached a glade where digital trees with leaves made of shimmering code rustled in a non-existent breeze. Atreyu paused and turned to Mia, his expression serious. "Before we continue, there's something you need to understand. The nothingness is not just an entity. It's a consequence of neglect, of apathy. The more people disconnect from their creativity and imagination, the stronger it becomes." Mia's green eyes widened. "So it's not just a threat to Fantasia, it affects my world too?" Atreyu nodded. "Exactly. Your world's obsession with technology, the constant distraction, it's feeding the nothingness. People are forgetting how to dream, how to create. That's why you were brought here, Mia. You need to awaken that spark in others." A pang of realization hit Mia. She had felt that very disconnection, the sense of being adrift in a sea of screens and notifications. "But how do I do that?" she asked, her voice tinged with a mix of determination and uncertainty. "You start by believing in yourself," Atreyu replied, his tone firm yet encouraging. "Every creation begins with a single idea. Trust your instincts, let your imagination guide you. And remember, you're not alone. I'm here to help you, and there are others in Fantasia who will aid us." Just then a flicker of light caught Mia's attention. She turned to see a small, luminescent creature fluttering towards them. It hovered for a moment before landing gently on her shoulder, its tiny wings beating like the hum of a distant computer. "Meet Pixel," Atreyu introduced the creature with a soft smile. "A companion who will guide us through the digital labyrinths and help us navigate the challenges ahead. It's a manifestation of the very creativity we need to protect." Mia reached up to touch Pixel, feeling a connection spark between them. She took a deep breath, feeling a surge of confidence. "Let's do this, Atreyu." Together, they set off, the path ahead illuminated by the glow of Pixel and the unyielding resolve in Mia's heart. The first steps of their quest had begun, and with each stride, Mia felt the weight of her purpose grow clearer. She was ready to face the nothingness and rekindle the flames of creativity that connected both worlds. "Ready?" Atreyu asked, his voice steady, but his eyes betraying a hint of the unknown that lay ahead. "Ready," Mia nodded, feeling the weight of their journey settle on her shoulders. Her outstretched hand met Atreyu's, their fingers intertwining as they stepped forward into the looming void. The transition was immediate and disorienting. One moment they were on the edge of Fantasia's colorful expanse, and the next, they were engulfed in an oppressive gray nothingness. The vibrant hues and whimsical shapes were replaced by an endless stretch of void, and a cold, eerie silence swallowed them whole. For a moment, Mia felt a wave of despair threaten to overtake her. It felt as though the void was seeping into her soul, trying to extinguish the spark of creativity she had worked so hard to ignite. But then she felt the warmth of Atreyu's hand and the memory of everything they had overcome together. She gathered her strength, determined not to let the nothingness win. Atreyu led the way, his steps purposeful despite the bleakness around them. They navigated through the void cautiously, every movement deliberate. Out of the gray mist emerged shapes, twisted, corrupted versions of the vibrant creatures they had encountered earlier. These entities were drained of color, their forms flickering as though fighting to maintain their existence. "Remember, Mia," Atreyu whispered, "your imagination is more powerful here. You can reshape this place. Don't fight the void on its terms. Create something new." Mia closed her eyes, visualizing the bright, beautiful landscapes of Fantasia. She imagined the lush digital forest, the towering cyber cities, the shimmering lakes of data. As she did, she felt a warmth spread through her chest, and when she opened her eyes, small patches of vibrant colors began to bloom around them, pushing back the encroaching void. With each step, Mia and Atreyu fought back against the nothingness, creating pockets of light and beauty that grew larger and more stable. But the void responded with increasing ferocity. Waves of gray corruption surged towards them, and shadowy figures spawned from the depths to attack. Atreyu defended their ground valiantly, his glowing sword cutting through the darkness, while Mia conjured walls of light and bridges of shimmering pixels to guide them forward. Despite the relentless onslaught, they pressed on, driven by the knowledge that their worlds depended on them. In the heart of the nothingness, they found it, a swirling vortex of void energy, the source of the corruption. It pulsated with a malevolent force, threatening to consume everything. Mia felt a shiver run down her spine, but she knew that this was the moment they had been preparing for. Atreyu turned to her, his expression resolute. "This is it, Mia. Together we can end this." With a deep breath, Mia focused all her creative energy on the vortex. She imagined it transforming into a beacon of light, a source of hope rather than despair. Atreyu channeled his strength into her, amplifying her power. As the void closed in around them, their combined energy surged forth in a brilliant explosion of color and light. The vortex shuddered, resisting at first, but then it began to change. The oppressive grayness was replaced by a cascade of vibrant hues, and the twisted shadows disintegrated into beams of pure light. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. The heart of the nothingness dissolved into nothing, and the void began to recede, giving way to the restored beauty of Fantasia. The cyber cities and digital forests reappeared, brighter and more vivid than ever before. Mia and Atreyu stood at the center of it all, their hands still clasped together. The battle was won, but the journey was far from over. They knew that the connection between their worlds had been strengthened, and that the fight against apathy and disconnection would continue. But for now, they had reclaimed Fantasia, and with it, a new hope for their intertwined destinies. Mia stood at the edge of the abyss, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. The vast, empty void stretched out before her, a yawning chasm of darkness that seemed to swallow all light and hope. This was the epicenter of the nothingness, the very heart of the cyber void that threatened to consume Fantasia. Beside her, Atreyu stood tall and resolute, his piercing blue eyes reflecting the faint glows of their surroundings. His futuristic, armored outfit shimmered with digital energy, an almost surreal contrast against the stark emptiness. As they ventured deeper into the void, the oppressive silence was punctuated by the distant, mournful echoes of lost memories and forgotten dreams. The entity at the core of the nothingness loomed ahead, an amorphous shadow feeding on apathy and disconnection. It writhed and pulsed, a grotesque manifestation of the world's indifference, and its presence sent chills down Mia's spine. Mia clenched her fists, feeling a surge of determination. This was the moment she had been preparing for. Drawing a deep breath, she closed her eyes and reached deep within herself, summoning every ounce of her creativity and imagination. She could feel the vibrant energy of Fantasia coursing through her veins, a kaleidoscope of colors and possibilities waiting to be unleashed. With a sharp exhale, she opened her eyes and began to weave her thoughts into reality. In an instant, bursts of digital life erupted around them, vivid and breathtaking. Flowers of light blossomed from the void, their petals shimmering with every hue imaginable. Whimsical creatures, born from Mia's wildest dreams, danced and frolicked in the newly created landscapes. The air buzzed with the electric hum of creativity, a stark contrast to the oppressive silence of the nothingness. Atreyu, sensing her momentum, stepped forward. Drawing on his innate strengths, he channeled the collective energy of Fantasia's denizens. He raised his hands, and beams of digital energy shot out, intertwining with Mia's creations. Together, they formed a radiant tapestry of life and hope, pushing back against the encroaching darkness. The entity at the core of the nothingness recoiled, its form shuddering as the vibrant energy assaulted it. It lashed out in desperation, tendrils of darkness attempting to smother the light. But Mia and Atreyu stood firm, their resolve unyielding. They poured every ounce of their being into this final stand, their combined willpower, a beacon of defiance. With a final, monumental effort, they channeled the collective energy of Fantasia's inhabitants. Every denizen lent their strength, their hopes, and their dreams to the cause. A wave of pure, unadulterated creativity surged forward, engulfing the void and banishing the shadows. The nothingness shrieked, a cacophony of despair and defeat before dissolving into nothingness. Mia and Atreyu stood at the heart of the transformed landscape, their breaths ragged but triumphant. The once empty void was now a thriving haven of digital life, a testament to the power of imagination and connectivity. They had done it. Together, they had saved Fantasia from the brink of oblivion. The restoration of Fantasia was nothing short of miraculous. Skies that had been consumed by the void were now a tapestry of vibrant purples and golds, with digital birds soaring freely. Mia and Atreyu stood on the crest of a newly rejuvenated hill, watching as data streams flowed back into the landscapes, bringing with them memories and stories that had been lost. Vivid holographic flowers bloomed in bursts of color, and the air hummed with the sounds of life reawakening. Mia, her short, messy brown hair rustling in the gentle breeze, felt a swell of pride and relief. Beside her, Atreyu's blue eyes sparkled with a light that mirrored the reborn energy of Fantasia. His armored outfit seemed to hum with renewed vitality, the faint digital glow pulsating in sync with his steady heartbeat. "It's incredible," Mia said, her voice a mix of awe and gratitude. "We did it, Atreyu. Fantasia is alive again." Atreyu nodded, his gaze fixed on the horizon where the last remnants of the nothingness were being obliterated by waves of restorative data. "You were the key, Mia. Your imagination and bravery turned the tide." As the landscapes around them continued to flourish, the sense of victory was tinged with a bittersweet note. Mia knew that her journey in this fantastical world was nearing its end. She turned to Atreyu, her bright green eyes meeting his. "I don't want to leave," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Atreyu placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Your time here has been a gift, but your world needs you too. The lessons you've learned, the creativity and connection you've discovered, these are what you carry back. Fantasia will always be a part of you." With a gentle smile, he reached into a compartment of his glowing armor and pulled out a small, intricately designed digital token. It shimmered with a soft, ethereal light. "Take this," he said, pressing it into her hand. "A token of our journey. Let it remind you of the power within you." Mia clutched the token tightly, feeling its warmth spread through her. "Thank you, Atreyu, for everything." As if on cue, a cascade of light enveloped her, transforming her surroundings into a swirl of colors and pixels. The fantastical landscapes of Fantasia dissolved, replaced by the familiar, dusty corners of the neglected bookstore. She found herself sitting with the Infinity Chronicle on her lap, the city's relentless hum waiting just beyond the door. Mia rose, the digital token still warm in her hand, a tangible link to the world she had saved. Stepping back into the hustle of the urban maze, she felt a new sense of purpose. With Fantasia's spirit alive inside her, she was ready to bring creativity and connection to her own world, one step at a time. The city around Mia had not changed, but she had. As she walked through the bustling streets, she noticed the small things she had overlooked before. The street artist sketching vibrant murals on a gray wall, the old man at the corner cafe writing poetry in a leather-bound notebook, and the children playing an impromptu game of hopscotch on the sidewalk. She saw the heartbeat of creativity pulsing through the urban maze. Mia moved with determination, her petite frame weaving through the crowds with a newfound sense of direction. She started conversations with strangers, sharing snippets of the whimsical landscapes of Fantasia, and watched as their faces lit up with curiosity and wonder. She joined local community centers, rallying people to put their devices aside and engage in storytelling sessions and art workshops. It wasn't easy. Many were resistant, too entrenched in their digital bubbles, but she persisted, her stories of Fantasia igniting a spark in even the most apathetic. The neglected bookstore, once a relic of the past, began to buzz with life. Mia curated events where people came to read, discuss, and create. She turned it into a sanctuary of imagination amidst the digital storm, a place where the youth and the elderly alike could escape the constant connectivity and find solace in tangible experiences. As she stood behind the counter one quiet afternoon, the digital token glimmered softly in her hand. It was a piece of Fantasia, a symbol of the boundless creativity and resilience she had discovered. She knew that the nothingness still threatened to creep into the corners of her world, but Mia was no longer afraid. She had become a beacon of hope and creativity, encouraging those around her to look beyond their screens and rediscover the magic of human connection. With a smile, she placed the token next to the cash register, a constant reminder of her journey and the infinite possibilities that lay ahead. The apathy that once clouded her mind was gone, replaced by a fierce determination to nurture creativity and connection. Mia was ready to face whatever challenges her world would throw at her, armed with the lessons of Fantasia and the strength of her unbroken spirit.